Good morning, and good morning. It is Friday. Friday, can you believe it? I just can't. I can't believe that it's going on, and being pulled quicker and quicker to do some things. So anyway, this morning, I don't know. I just woke up with this spirit of, I had a note on my door yesterday telling me, that they were going to give me this best deal on my roof. And that got me thinking, how often do we pay attention to what's going on in the world where we are being scammed? We are being scammed, and I did this probably maybe about 2.5 years ago, but I keep seeing all the alerts that keep coming on the news and in your reading, and then I know about a couple of people that have been scammed recently, and I said I have to bring it back around again. It's in my spirit that everybody that smiles at you is really not you for you. You're not in their best interest. You know, people are intentionally trying to get something that you got. Not everybody, but there are some bodies out there that intend to do that. And so I started looking at this early this morning about what are the fraud and scam statistics that are out there, and you wouldn't believe them. They say they've gone up 30% since 2021. Now 2021 is only 2 years ago, and this report was put out by the Attorney General's office. But before I give you some more of the statistics, I really wanted to talk about the high scamming countries. And they said they're plentiful. You know, they gave us the top 10. Uh, America's not on that top 10 list. They are not. But yet and still, we are one of the top targets. We are we are the top targeted area, but we aren't on the list as the ones who may be doing the largest scale of scamming. You know, good morning, Christopher Dale. How are you? So they say the largest areas and the countries, and these are all counted down. Good morning, Marion. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you in this space. Good to see your name up there. But anyway, top scamming countries are South Africa is number one. And they said even social media, they have a tendency to, come on your pages, they steal your identity, they look at all the things that you've written, and if you're like I am, if you're public, then you're basically in a pool of people that are vulnerable. So I don't answer every invite that says that they want me to become their friend. I don't do that. I'm intentionally doing that because I feel it's important. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Mitzi. Good morning, Erica. Oh my goodness, everybody's coming in. Thank you so much. This to me was important that I do it again, because I know a couple of people, as I said, that I have been scammed recently. But number one on the list, as I said, of the scamming countries that they target America and other countries as well, but they love Americans. We are so quick to get on the internet and purchase everything. Like I seen a recent. Good morning, Maurice. I saw a recent. Uh, it must have been like a YouTube video that was telling everybody that they needed to beware of Temu, Temu. And I purchased things from them. I have. But it says if you're going to do it from the site itself and not from anything that's personally a part of your your phone, and like don't have them as an app in the phone. And that's what it was saying. But anyway, number one country is South Africa. Number two is Nigeria. Number three is Venezuela. Number four is India. Number five is China. This is interesting to me. Number 6 is Pakistan, Romania, the Philippines, Brazil, and Russia. America is not in the top 10 list to actually do the scamming. Not that, now don't get it wrong. I didn't say that they will not scam you, because Americans had, if you ever watch American Greed, you know a scam. They've been really elaborate. There's been some of the worst scamming done in the world, probably done through our country, where people have lost their homes, they've lost their 401ks, they've lost their savings, they've lost their bonds, only because people think they're tying into, a new development going on in Arizona. That's the one I saw. I'm like, wow. I don't want to be targeted. I'm just trying to live my life, and I think this is how you all are looking at your lives as well. But here's some of the other statistics. It says in 2022, the Attorney General reported that consumers' losses to fraud totaled $8.8 billion, which is that 30% that was up from 2021. And you know how stats go. Stats are always, they have to have a period to cover before they can give out the information. So they don't even have 2023 up yet. But I'm quite sure by the time they get to 2024, they'll have 23 and maybe the initial portion of 24. But to me, this is a train without a conductor. We have become the passengers on this train. We are watching our money be just dwindled, or our possessions being taken away because we're not attentive. And so anyway, it says this according to this recent study by the Trade Commission, the biggest losses were in investment scams, including cryptocurrency. Now, I had a friend who was trying to get me to buy crypto. I said, no. Okay. I said, the money seems funny to me. So that doesn't sound like a good connection for me. I need to know that a dollar is still a dollar and whatever else. So no. And it says cryptocurrency schemes, which cost more than $3.8 billion, doubles the amount of which it cost in 2021. It just lets you know that we need to be leery. And here's some of the other common scams. I don't want you to tell me if you've ever been scammed, unless you want to. But tell me if you know someone who has. Okay, you can say yes, I know someone who's been scammed. But these are the common scams according to the Attorney General. The advance fee scams. That means, in order for you to get a lottery that I have, you're going to have to come, okay, and give us $1,000, and then we'll send you your winnings. Advanced fees. Okay, it also says a tech support scams, where I love this person, they're going on to glory, but I would be so upset with them because they continually would let the people call to say, your computer is running a virus, and the virus is taking down your ability to really have good connection to the internet. And they would speak in basically a foreign tongue to them. And he would say, what do I need to do? And he'd end up giving them money. $200, $500. That's a perfect scam. That's number 2 on the list. The other thing is phishing, where they're seeing, will you come out to play with them? And when we go out to play, we find out that not only are we on the hook as what's been caught, but we are not on the hook just for that, but we're on the hook for, say, 6 months, 8 months, or a year later. And some of us have, because we're not good at going and checking what we've already committed to, and they're able to, smooth it out for a year, and it doesn't appear until a year later. Some people don't realize that they've been on a continuous roll forward for years because they don't check everything. Emergency scams, where they say, I have an emergency. My family is in dire straits and they need money immediately. And we do that. That's what happened to me. It popped up on my screen, right? And that's another thing, like all those pop-ups, and I try to, use the edge, the defense, and all these kinds of things. It tries to ward those off, but they're slick, you know, they're slick. I'm always talking about water. Like water will always go to its lowest point. I don't care what you pour it on. Okay. It's going to go to whatever it's going to support it from the bottom up. Therefore, you're vulnerable. If you're not there saying, nope, my glass has no room in it, it's already full. It's already full. But then, so that's good, Debbie, for that. And this is also the IRS, or government imposter schemes, telling you that you owe the government $40,000. And I knew somebody that went through that, and they didn't. And I said, well, why would you check it out with them? And they said, also, when you're getting something in your email, and it's something that you click on, do not click on it, because a lot of times that gives them access to any of your information that you have on your computer. And it also says, make sure you look at the web address, because the web address may give you keys to really the fact that this is a scam. Like it might be HTTP, and not the S won't be on there, which is the security portion. You don't have it. Okay. So those kinds of things. And it's hard for us to remember to look at all this stuff, but we need to. The weakest link. Come on now. So it says also foreign currency exchange. Like if you go to exchange money and you're in another country, get your money exchanged before you leave here. Or if you're going to do it, go to an official exchange. Do not just take somebody's money that says, well, I have change, I'll give it to you. No, you're probably going to be ripped off and getting counterfeit money, or money that is much lower in its value in terms of how much they gave you than how much it would have been would have been given had you gone to a legitimate place. Counterfeit cashier checks. Now, I had a friend call me recently that they received a cashier's check for, I don't know, it was like $16,000. I can't remember the amount, but they were to go to the bank and cash the check. And I said, wait a minute, before you do that, okay, first of all, you have to first find out, is the check legitimate, and what is it for? Research it, find out where it came from, what's it all about. And I said, when you go to the bank, don't have them cash it, have them tell you if the check is official. Because if it's something that you're just putting in your account, and it's really, basically one of those checks that if it should not have the backing where it came from, going back to the other bank, it's going to end up being on you. That's your money out of your account. So it may say that it's $15,000, but it's not $15,000 on them. It's 15 on you. Good morning, Yolanda. Hey, happy Friday to you too, my friend. How you doing? Hey, tell Nate hello. I saw his little note online. Your note about him online. But anyway, then bogus debt, saying that you owe something that you don't owe. All of these things are common scams, and they are absolutely on fire. And I think the pandemic gave a lot of people time to be creative about how to get whatever you have, whatever that is. And they try to come to your door, and even though I tape everything, I don't answer it. I just let everything tape. I don't answer it. But later on, I basically could tell the police who came to my door and what they looked like, what they had on. And I always pay attention if they don't turn around good and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. So today's word is scam. I did all that to say that today's word is to scam. And it says, well, what is scam? And I'm first going to ask you, are you stuck? Have you ever been caught in a scam, or know others? That was my question. And I know Debbie answered it. I have been scammed. That's what happened to me in the weakest link. Okay, I just want to make sure I seen that. I had a scam where it was through UPS. Me too. I don't answer anything UPS. I either go up to, a UPS store and find out it's something legit, and I also track, did I order anything? If I didn't order anything, I'm not going to UPS store either. I just ignore it. I delete it from my information. So anyway, what is a scam? It says it's a dishonest act. It's a scheme. It's fraud. Plain and simple, it is absolute fraud. They are intending to get what you have any way they can. Anyway, it does not matter. It says they will do it as a swindle, a fraudulent act, a scheme, Like, I don't like those pyramid schemes. You can't give me that. I'm not going to do it. It's criminal. It absolutely is criminal if you can catch them. Because they said that some of these countries that I spoke of earlier are so slick that they are able to, just go under the wire where they can't be caught, because it's a wire fraud. Obviously, it definitely is criminal, but some of them, end up turning to work for the government because they're just that darn good, or that good. It says, I try to help people identify the clues of a scam. That's good. That's really good. It says it's also a racket, it's trickery. It says it's a con. It's a flim flam. Basically, it's a hustle, okay? And a boondoggle. All of those things pretty much assess the fact that when we're scammed, those words really bring it to heart and home that, we've been violated. We've been violated. Recently, I think it was in the news where a woman was scammed out of her house by somebody going down and actually signing paperwork to sell the house to someone else that wasn't her, who was even doing the signature. But it ended up that it was caught just with the slightest little error. They had been going around through ways of access for her, and they found a way to steal her house. We have to pay attention. I mean, it's terrible to say, but we do. We really do. So when I break the word down this morning, my S is for shakedown, because that's just what I feel it is. It's an absolute shakedown, an act of instant of shaking down, especially extortion. It's when you've been bilked, or they're bleeding you, they've cheated you, they're conning you, they're hustling you. There's a fleecing that goes on. They always used to have this term for a show that used to come on talking about the fleecing of America. And it would actually go and peel back the layers of how so many people had been scammed, just because they weren't as savvy electronically, and electronics will get you all the time, because I think as we get more and more technical going forward, then there's more trouble to come going forward. But the shakedown also, it says, it's when they do a shortcut around your ability to pay attention. Sneaky, that's good. Simple, oh, those are really good. No security, yes. Scary, it is scary. I got to be honest with you. In fact, I just bought, I don't have it down here, but I just bought this thing called the Birdie. And this Birdie, when you pull it out, makes so much noise that it's absolutely horrible on the ears. And I tried it in the house the other day when I bought my daughter one and myself one, and oh my goodness, it is just so darn loud. And then it blinks, it does all of these things. That's basically a distractor. But I'm constantly thinking, I go around a lot, so I need something that that's hopefully going to give me another layer of protection. And I live in a lit neighborhood, and I have lights all around the house. I do not play. If you come here, you all lit up. Feels surreal. Yeah, sneaky. Yeah. So anyway, also a shakedown is a short change, where you've been shortchanged about something. They call it a skinning. a squeeze, a stick, a stuff, a sting. Is when they call you sucker, a swindle, and basically when you've been victimized. So, I don't really want, slick is good too. I don't really, want to constantly be looking on my left and my right and up and down, but I do, only because I know how much to let people in and let them out, and most of the time they're out. Only because you have to protect yourself. You have to. And Maurice, I loved what your wife Gwendolyn said about you, there to protect and do what you're supposed to do. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for all those that have to have a birdie. I have to have my birdie to protect me. But here's another word, choust. And choust that's my C. Choust is CHOUSED, which talks about being swindled, cheated, and it says it's usually when somebody's being followed by or out of a person who deceives. They're basically there to deceive you. Cautious. Oh, that's good. We need to be cautious. It says when they are looking to defraud you, trick you in a way that deception is number one. They intend to deceive you, and make it their will to access to your stuff or to you. It says chouse is to cheat and trick, often followed by of or out of. And it says someone's money is probably number one. Someone's possessions, whatever they are, the house, the car, your jewelry, whatever it is. I don't know if you all have been watching the news, but I think, I want to say it was in Philadelphia, but maybe I'm not sure. But anyway, chaos is right. That's right. Cover up and chaos. Corrupt. Oh, all those words are wonderful. And it describes what is going on. I don't know if you watched the news maybe 2 nights ago, and it was showing where these young people, and they said about 100 of them went to all the stores in Philadelphia that would be considered, I believe it was Philadelphia, that would be considered to be the upscale stores like the Nike and, and I don't know if Louis Vuitton, but all the upscale stores that they went to, and jewelry as well. And they literally all broke windows, went inside and stole all of these items within minutes, gone. And then they had cars to pick them up. They drove away, and they said they caught quite a few people. Quite a few they were picked up and arrested, but there's more. There were more out there. And to me, that's making it where things that we want to purchase, those that are honest, they're making that more expensive. It was Philly. Okay. I thought it was. Thank you, Marion. So you think about how frightening it is for you to even go to the store. You want to go and pay your money, but they're going there and stealing the items, which makes it more expensive for the owners, to be able to put out items that you can afford. Because eventually that means the items go up. And I don't know. I think it also was on TV. I don't know what cities it's in, but I know Target is one of the stores that plans on closing. I know for California, they're going to close a lot of stores. Why? Because they're one of the big box stores that are being targeted a lot for basically stealing items. I mean, it just seems like no one wants to work anymore. What happened to it? You work for what you get. But anyway, getting back to, sorry I went off a little bit, but it just upsets me to know that I have to basically look at somebody trying to swindle me, and then they go to the stores where we frequent and they do this kind of what I call criminalized behavior. They do it, and it ends up that we in turn will suffer. Either we'll suffer by not having those stores in the area if they close, and then we're paying higher prices at those same stores because they need better security and all those kinds of things. It's just getting to the point. It's crazy. My A of scam is alert. How alert are you? How much? How much? When you go out, are you just oblivious, just walking around, you know, get your, your iPods in your ear? Is it iPods? Whatever those things are. Earphones. I don't know what they're called. iPod is the little music machine that they're getting rid of. But you got your earphones in your ears and rocking out on your music and making yourself vulnerable, because people pay attention to what you do, how you do it. Okay. So the alert talks about it's quick to notice anything unusual or potentially dangerous or difficult circumstances. Sometimes we don't even realize that we might be in danger. Yes, it was Philly. Okay. We don't pay attention. It says a state of being watchful for possible danger. That's what we should be doing every time we leave our homes. Every time. Every single time. And it's good when we have, I don't know how many of you have a security system. I do. I believe in it. And I have it pretty much all around the house. So you touch a window or a door, the alarm's going off. And it's so annoying because when it was put in, I don't know how many decibels it is, but it is absolutely, it wakes up the street. Okay. It wakes up the street. And every once in a while, I set it off, not intentionally, but on the other hand, intentionally, I want people to know, even if it's by the neighbors or somebody visiting the neighbors, that they say, oh, Winnie has a system. We sometimes have to let people know that coming here or coming to your place or near you, my car does it too. I have an alarm on the car. So it says, quick to notice and be watchful. That's what we need to be. It says wide awake, aware of what's going on around us. Observant, basically circumspective. We're like, okay, what's going on? Even when I leave the house, even during the daytime, I'm looking all around. Who's near my house? Who's near my property? Who's near my car? And what, we were talking about this other day, and I don't know how many of you attack? Yes, Debbie. How many of you grew up during a period of time in which your houses were left open? You could go away during the day, your parents, and the houses were left open. That's how we grew up in New York. I don't remember us really putting serious locks on the door until probably maybe when I was 10. Prior to that, the doors were open. People would, go and do whatever they were going to do, and it was okay. It was okay. Nobody bothered them. And at night, you may sleep and the front door is open. So Brother Bear is out, Brother Bear can get in, whatever. It says we used to keep the doors unlocked all the time when I was a wee one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we were much younger, you try that, I remember going to a friend's house in New York, and they had, I counted 5 locks. 5. They had, I think there were 2 bolt locks. So to me, what was scary about their door is that I thought that they became a possible victim just trying to get in their own house because it took so long. It was a key and a key. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like one key controlled everything, which they probably could do now. Or they have the electronic door, which is just a series of numbers. But they had a key and a key, and then another key. So I was like, wow. And then when they went inside, then they had a slider lock. There were 2 of them, and I'm like, wow. And then and this is no lie, I also seen the pole. I don't know if you've ever seen the pole, where the pole, it sits at an angle and is bolted up against the door and bolted to the floor. So when they take it down, it just would slide down to the floor. I hadn't seen any of that in recent years, but I remember that when I was coming up and visiting some folks in New York. I'm like, wow. That frightened me, because I'm thinking, well, why do they go to that extent? Well, you have to live long enough to understand that folks get more and more and more, um, I would say, selective, creative, um, basically crime filled as they get older, if that's what their slant is in the first place. People respected one another much more. Absolutely. Back then, you're right, Debbie. They really did. So, so far, as we're talking about the scammers, we're looking at the fact that we know they're a shakedown. We know that they've been choused. We know that we need to be more alert. And lastly, in scam, okay, it says that we need to make ourselves more meaningful. We need to know that we, no matter what we have, are much more meaningful than the things that we have, including money. So I don't want to leave this world and someone take me out because I didn't, you know, um, let go of something that they wanted. Um, just don't hurt me, you know. But why should we have that attitude now? Only because we see the world has just become more and more violent and more scammable. Um, I guess working isn't working for some people. Maintain. Yeah, we have to try to maintain as much we can. For meaningful, I have having meaning and significant relevance. Taking care of myself and trying not to be scammed is meaningful to me. And I'm putting it out there in the airways that it could be meaningful to other people. I think it should be something that of importance, something that it says is consequential. It's I want to be in the balance of still being here beyond anything that somebody may want, or but I just try to protect myself on all sides as best I can. It says having a serious and important or useful quality of purpose is what is meaningful. My purpose isn't to look for scammers. My purpose is to try to avoid scamming and scammers as best I can. And it says that meaningful means that we're looking at something that we need to tell ourselves. We need to look at the weightiness of it. Is important enough for us to pay attention to where we're going, what we're doing, what are our surroundings, who's coming our way, what information is coming in our mail, our email, our snail mail, telephone. I like a lot, like let a lot of things go directly to voicemail unless I know the number and the name, and more so the name than the number, because I have so many numbers now. I don't know all the numbers like I used to. So for me, that's how I live. Constantly saying, well, if it's meaningful enough, they'll leave a message. If it's not, then that means that's something that's a possible scam. you know, because a lot of strange numbers. And I know people move around, and so they may have gotten a new phone with a different area code from where they moved from to, So I get that, but meaningful to me says, is it purposeful? Does it make sense that I would put myself in a position where I don't know? Um, I always tell people, if you ever find me at the bottom of, uh, the river or a mountain or any of those kind of things that I find to be dangerous and something that I don't do, um, y'all already know somebody did it. Somebody did it. But listen, I want you to have a wonderful weekend. I want you to pay attention to your surroundings. Don't get scammed. Don't put yourself in a position for people to do things to you. Pay attention to what you are doing at all times. Thank you, Marion. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. You too. Grace and peace to you too, girl. I want everybody to just know that life is so short, but we want to live our lives to the fullest, that our way, not the way someone has placed us, to be twisted up and to be, in a position where we've lost things. Um, have a wonderful weekend too. Just enjoy yourselves. Do something that's fun, something that maybe with a friend or your if If you have kids, maybe with them or even alone. Sometimes just sitting down, putting your feet up with a book. No more work for the weekend, just you having a good time. But anyway, take care of yourself. And listen, if you don't do anything else, you don't have to give me anything. But if you would hit that button that says share, you can share this and maybe somebody else will know that it's important to say, are you stuck? We hope not. We hope no one's stuck, that they pay attention. I love you guys and appreciate you so much. I'll see you soon. I'll be back on Monday. Thanks. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.